Hello and welcome to this course. This is all about scales and arpeggios, and with specific reference to the ABRSM Grade 1 syllabus. But this course will also be applicable for people who just want to learn a little bit more about scales and arpeggios, something about the background of them, how they fit in around the instrument, and what relevance do they have? How can you use them in your practice? And will they actually improve your playing? Now, I think scales and arpeggios are important. They certainly promote control. They promote a kind of regularity in the way that you approach them, so they become like a benchmark and a way that you can tell if you use your nails, if they're filed correctly. If you're a flesh player, are you creating a nice tone? Is there anything in the fingers that's creating a bad sound? Maybe it's the angle that you play out, maybe you're not relaxed enough. Scales and arpeggios are really good for just checking on lots of different aspects of music. So scales in particular are very good for being able to check to see whether you're repeating a particular finger. So if you were just, say, playing just the G string on its own and just playing I, M, index, middle. I mean, it's a good exercise on its own, but when you introduce other notes, then it becomes something that helps you coordinate between the plucking hand and the fretting hand. So then you're playing with them both in sync. And of course, guitarists are doing different things with one side of their body and the other. And this is where balance and control comes into its own. So for instance, the G major scale, you'll be playing an open G, a fretted A, an open B. Now, as soon as you get to an open B, you've had to cross the strings. And so this is one of the interesting areas of using scales, because it helps you get used to crossing the strings in a sequential order. So I think that's a really handy skill to know, because I do find that younger guitarists, especially less experienced guitarists, they're happy playing on one string, and then initially they find it difficult to move over to the next string whilst keeping the IM going. And now with the F major scale, as an instance, I could start now to use my little finger on the F, open G, fretted A, B flat with the little finger, fretted C, fretted D with the little finger, open E, fretted F on the first fret of the E string. Now you can use scales to help build up your confidence on fingers. Maybe you're not using the little finger very much, so you can use some of these scales in these exercises that I'll show you later on, and you can use the little finger and integrate it into your playing much more. If you're one of these players that's very index and middle finger heavy, and some players are happy with index, middle and ring, but not so much with the little finger, so they can be a very good exercise for knowing your way around the fretboard and using fingers that you're not used to using. Some of the exercises you will be using your thumb on, so maybe you're really confident with your thumb. Other exercises are good because you'll be using a combination of thumb, index, middle and ring. So this will help with your hand position. So however you hold your hand here, you have to make sure that your thumb is further forwards, and so that you're dealing with the anatomy of your hand and having your hand feeling nice and comfortable. making sure there's no tension in your posture, making sure that the hand on the left side is placed correctly. So there's lots of posture aspects to playing scales and arpeggios, but it's the drill of always having something set that you can repeat as an exercise. So that's an interesting rhythm, because the rhythm doesn't stay consistent. If you hear people playing scales, you can have a consistent rhythm. But in the grade 1 ABRSM syllabus, sometimes you may be required to play a different rhythm. Crotchet, quaver, 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 quaver. So I think that scales and arpeggios are really important. I hope they will be to you. They may seem a little bit boring at first, but you can use them to your own advantage, and maybe you can use them to help you learn to improvise, or just to learn your way around the fretboard.